Here in Millis, Massachusetts, we have another A championship online for you. Lanes 21 and 22. We've got Rob Linehan and Dan Gauthier, two evenly matched competitors, coming in 6th and 7th place in the wild card. Dan, the home bowler, has elected to go second, and Rob Linehan will lead things off. Now with the play-by-play is our commentator, Dan Castle. Dan?
Good afternoon, Bob, and welcome to Ryan's. And we'll be getting underway momentarily. The bowlers are about ready to start. They had a good warm-up. And starting off on lane 21, it'll be Rob Linehan. Rob is in 7th place in the ACST A division right now, and he carries an average of 114.95. So call it a 115. About ready to start on his first ball. And here we go. And Rob is on the head pin, but gets a split, a 4-6-7 split, a little piece of wood in the front. He's going to probably have to make use of that to have any chance of making a spare. And he goes off to the 7 pin, just takes that. Format today, we'll be bowling 5 games. Each bowler will bowl 5 boxes at a time. The visiting bowler first. And when Rob has finished his 5 boxes, Dan Gauthier will come up and bowl his 5 boxes. And then we'll switch over to lane 22 for the second 5, or the second half as we call it. And we'll go this way through 5 matches. Rob ended up with a 9 box for his first box. And here he goes on box 2. In the pocket. Everything but the 3 and 10 goes with a little piece of wood there. Now this is a scratch match. The bowlers are bowling for point accumulations for their playoff standings. And Rob comes up with a spare. First spare of our match. Each game, the winner of each game will be awarded 2 points. In the event of a tie, they'll each get 1 point. And the winner of the total score for all 5 strings will pick up another 4 points. So a possible 14 points is awarded for this match. Rob has a 5 fill, is left with a diamond in the front and a 10 box, piece of wood on the right. And he's at 24 after 2 boxes. Oh, great effort there. Rob tries to pick up the spare. He's on the head pin. 10 pin's a late fall, but the 2 pins stuck around, so open in the 3rd box. And a 10 box. Now into the 4th box. He's off on the 2 pin, but gets some great action there with a 28-mile-an-hour ball. And he's left with a 139 pin. Little piece of wood in front. He's going to have to come into the pocket to pick this up. Wood may help. I don't know. It could deflect too. It's hard to say. Rob's on the object, but the pin deflects the ball around, and he takes everything but the 3 pin. So he'll be opening his 4th box.
32 out of the hand, Dan.
So Bob uses his radar gun here, and he measures the ball speed as it's released, and Rob comes out at 32 miles an hour. The radar here in the lanes measures it at the pins, where it's slowed down a little bit due to the friction of the lanes. So that was 32 as he released, and about 28 as it got to the pins. So Rob has a 10 box. He's at 44 after 4, and coming into his 5th and final box of the first half, and he drops 8. On the 3 pin, he takes everything but the 1-2. Fairly straightforward spare, but you have to hit it. And Rob does, nice and clean, no doubt about that. And he's at 54 and a ball after 5. Now we get to see Dan Gauthier, known affectionately as Shoe among bowling fans. And Dan's on his first ball. He's on the head pin. Takes out 5. He's left with 3 and 2, or a diamond plus a 7 pin. You could look at it that way. Dan is bowling with a 116.97 average, or about a 1.817 average. Both bowlers are doing very well. He's on that object pin, and he gets a spare. Little late action. I didn't think it was going to go. And in the 2 lanes to the left of us, we have another ACST match underway. And we have Ashley Breton right now bowling.
Stephen Carden.
And I'm sorry? Yep.
Stephen Carden, right.
And Steve Carden. Ashley's got a good run going right now. So Dan puts 4 in the fill. Going for a spare attempt. Great effort. Doesn't quite carry. And Dan gets a 9 for 23 after 2 boxes. Close match. And his ball speed is 31 miles an hour. About 28 at the pins. So very close to what we're seeing from Rob. And Ashley just picked up her 5th spare in a row, which makes me nervous because she's in my division. I have to bowl against her soon. Dan drops 7 on his first ball in the 3rd box. So Ashley Breton finished with a 139 in her game, which was their 4th game, or 3rd game, I'm sorry. Very good. Dan on a spare attempt. Takes out just the middle pin. He's left with a 7-10 split, a piece of wood in front of the 10 pin. And he takes a 10 pin only, attempts to move the wood over to the 7. It doesn't carry, but at least he got a 9. Puts him at 32 after 3. Only 2 pins behind Rob currently. On the head pin for the first strike of the match. No doubt about that one. Dan Gauthier with a strike. Dan had doubts about that one, but it looked pretty good going down. It was a solid strike, in my opinion. And on the fill, first ball of the fill, Dan's off on a 3 pin, just picks up 3 of the 10 pins that were there. And now for his second ball in the 5th. He wants a big fill here to keep up with Rob, who's on a spare. And he does pretty well with that. That's a 9 fill. The ball bounced back. So that gives him 51 after 4. But he's going to be open in the 5th box. He's got 9 already. And there's a 10. So Dan Gauthier sits down with 61. Rob Linehan's at 54 plus a ball. I see Ray Weatherby is watching. Hi, Ray. See you later tonight at the league. And now Rob's on a fill ball. He's switched over to lane 22 for the second half of the game. Nice pocket shot in the left pocket. Perfect for a left-handed bowler.
Still falling.
And they're still falling. And is that last pin going to go? It's wiggling, but it refuses to fall. But it gives him a 9 fill for a 63 half. To Dan Gauthier's 61 half. And he picks up the spare. Spare in the 6 for Rob Linehan. Rob's known among bowlers as the Roadrunner for his rapid, difficult to count approach. Bob counts 5 steps
that time.
I've seen 6. And Rob has a 4 fill. 79 after 6. I got a tough split here. He's got to cut that over and have a chance. He tries. Just misses the object pin. 3 more left. 2, 4, and 10. And he prudently goes for the 2 and almost carries the wood off of the wall to pick up the 3rd, but that's a 9 box for 88 after 7. I see Corey Alecci's watching, and welcome to the match. In the pocket again for Rob with an 8 drop. He's left with a 6 and a 10. Piece of wood is tempting, but looks to me like it's a little too far back. He doesn't need it. Picks up another mark. That'll give him 98 in a ball at the 8th box. And coming into the 9th box of the first game, Rob on his fill. Puts it in the pocket nicely. Rob 7 for 105 after 8, and he's left with the 8, the 6, and the 10 with a piece of wood between them. Went for the wood, picked up the 2 outside pins, but he'll be open in the 9th. And there's a 10 for a 115 after 9. Now into the 10th and final box of the first game for Rob Linehan. Rob, a little full on the head pin, but takes out 8. He's left with a 4 and a 7 for the spare attempt. No wood at all, just a piece of wood and a gutter that's immaterial. And he's got another mark for 125 and a ball.
5 spares.
That's 5 marks for Rob Linehan. Half of his boxes have been spares. And for the fill, Rob takes out 8 and finishes with a 133 game for Rob Linehan. Forces Dan to mark probably twice here, minimum. 72 pins he's got to pick up in this half. That's 2 marks, maybe 3.
3, yeah, good pinning of 3.
Yeah, 50 and 22, yeah, that's... Dan comes into the right-hand pocket and takes out everything but the 5 and dime, or 5 and 7, I'm sorry, 5 and 10. On a spare attempt, it's a tough spare to make. He's going to make an effort at it. Picks up the 5 pin, carries it just to the left, but not quite enough to take out the 7, so he'll be open in the 6th box. He's up against a spare. And a 10 box for 71 after 6. He's down 8 pins in boxes bowled so far. And again, he's going to need 2 minimum, probably 3 marks to catch up with Rob. He's got a ways to go. He's got 62 pins to go in 4 boxes. And punches out with a half Worcester right. About the worst thing you want to see when you're in this situation. And greetings to Rich Lamone and Dan Esdale. See you guys watching. Dan goes off to the right, just picks up the back 2 pins. He's left with a big cluster on the left. He wants to get out of this box with something decent. And he'll take a 9, so that gives him 80 after 7. Down 8 pins in boxes completed. But he's up against a spare and then another spare in the 10th.
That worked.
Yeah, Dan dropped a nice ball on that one. He put it in the right pocket and took out everything but the 7, a little delayed action. Got just 1 to shoot at, so this could be one of the marks that he needs. And there it is. So spare in the 8th for Dan Gauthier. You see Kyle Hetty has also joined us. Hi, Kyle. Now all all-important fill ball in the 9th. Big ball here.
Still full.
And he got some good action. Was at risk of a punch-out. Drops 8 for the fill, which puts him in 98 after 8. And he is left with a 1 and the 8. He's got to go out, cut that head pin over, or go slightly on the inside. He's on it. Oh, but it misses the 8 pin, so he's going to be open in the 9th. Got it that time for a 10 box. He's at 108 after 9, and he's up against an 18 box. Rob has a spare 8 in the 10th. Dan needs to pick up 25 pins to tie, which means a double strike.
Good bid, but not there.
It's not a strike. So the best he can come up with right now is a 128 if he spares us and hits a strike. So Rob Linehan will win the first string and the first 2 points. And he just clips off the 4 pin. The 7 doesn't go. So he'll be open in the 10th box. Gets a 10 for 118, so the first string is 133 to 118 in favor of Rob Linehan, who will take the first 2 points of the points awarded in this match.
1 point above his average there, right?
Yep, both bowlers bowled well above their average. Dan about 1 pin over, and Rob quite a bit over, almost 19 pins over his, or 18 pins over his average. All right, we're coming up on our second string. We're going back to lane 21 with Rob Linehan. Rob on his first ball in game 2. Stumbled a little bit on the approach and went to the right. So for the 4 horsemen left, plus the 9 and the 10. Piece of wood behind the 2 pin. Might help. Oh, it took out the 9, but he's left with the 1 and the 10. So he missed a head pin on that shot. So he'll be open in the first box. Nice attempt at the 110. He picks up just one of them, and it's a 9 box for Rob Linehan. And coming into his second box, Rob's off on the 2 pin. Gets a break here. Some late action. He's left with a 9 and a 10 with some wood in front of it. Yeah. He's got 1 flat piece and 1 piece behind it that's diagonal. That could be a little tricky. What do you think, Bob? If he goes to the right a little bit, he's got a shot?
Yeah, right side of the front wood.
Yeah, I think so.
That's his best chance. It's not a guarantee, though. Let's see.
Went to the left.
How about it?
And he got it.
Hey, thank you,
some
Walt.
action off the wall. So a spare in the second box for Rob Linehan. Made it look easy. Comes in his here he comes on his fill. Again, he's off on the 2 pin. Gets some awesome action instead of punching out. And that's an 8 fill for 27 after 2. And all he's got left is a 1 in the 8 pin. And 1 he hit a little too far to the left. He was on the right-hand side of the pin, hit it, knocked it to the left, left the 8. So open in the 3rd.
Oh, my goodness.
And a 9 box, 36 after 3.
Rob holding on to that number 7 slot. That's where he came in a couple of years ago, and he had that big upset against number 2 seed Tim Douglas in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You know, remember Matt Susi in the A's won out of the 8 slot last year. This is playoff position is really important for these guys.
All right, first of all, he just took off the right hand 3 and did not make the spare, so he's left with the 3, 5, and 10. Wants to pin out here if he can. He just gets 1 and 8 box for 44 after 4. He He really wants to close on a mark to keep Dan from make it a little harder for Dan. And on the head pin, a little full, but not too bad at all. He drops 9. He's got the 7 pin. He's got an opening there to go directly at it. He's got some wood. It's a little far out, though, so I doubt that he's going to go for the wood. But if he misses, it might work. But he's got to be best served by probably going directly to the pin. And he took it out of the gutter. He hit the wood in the gutter, so that will be a 9-box. And 53 for the first half of the second string.
Justin Waters in the house.
And Justin Waters has just joined the area where we're talking here. He's watching the match with us. Justin's been bowling some amazing games lately. And Dan Gauthier starts with a strike. And Dan Asdale comments that he's shocked that Linehan didn't go for the wood on that spare attempt because he always goes for the wood. Well, he went for the wrong wood. He went for the wood that was in the gutter. That didn't do him any good. Asdale sends greetings to Justin. Gauthier on his second box takes out 6 with the first ball. Wow.
All right, let's see a shot.
He's got the 1, 3, 9, 10, a bunch of wood in between. He's got a good shot at this he's hoping for a 10 fill. And it's going to be a 9 fill for 19 for his first box and open in the second. Just the head pin left to try to get a 10. And he misses to the right, so it's a 9-box 28 after 2. Very close so far, 2 boxes in. Just a 1-pin game right now. And Dan Gauthier on the head pin again. Takes out 6, and he's got a 3 and 1. It's a 2, 4, 7, and 6 pin. Nope, too far to the left. Just takes out 2 more. And he's got a tough split here to try to get a 10. It's a 2 and a 6. Gets the 2, leaves a 6. 8 box for Dan Gauthier for 37 after 3. Or 9 box, I'm sorry.
Yep.
9 box.
Heard you say 8.
I misspoke. I'm prone to do that from time to time.
Come on the air. You take this.
All right, Gauthier off to the right, takes out 4.
No leg rest for Justin.
So Justin Waters is here with us. He's going to join the commentary.
Hello, everyone.
So far, we've had a pretty good first string, 133 to 118 in favor of Linehan. And Gauthier misses his spare attempt. He's just got the 5-pin left. So have you bowled these guys yet in this year's series?
I just pulled Gauthier last Sunday, and we had a hell of a match.
That's right. I saw it on
594 to 610.
That was an amazing match. Gauthier has a 9
That was a fun
box.
match. Just Dan in general, just hell of a competitor. Keeps it very, very light during the night. So
Gauthier off a little bit left of the head pin.
getting a good mix there.
Yeah, it does. But you've been bowling great lately, Justin. Saw
Yeah.
your 192 game the other couple weeks
A couple
ago.
weeks ago, it was nice. Yeah, it was my new high single.
Just missed the house record by 2 pins, but next time you'll get it.
Yeah.
Gauthier has a 5, 9, and 10 for a spare attempt, and he gets it.
Great ball.
So that leaves Dan at 56 in the ball and a 3 pins plus a fill ahead of Rob, who's at 53 and a ball and a half. Rob now up on lane 22. So do you have a favorite lane here, Justin?
No, not really. I bowled well in a couple of the different lanes. I feel like I bowled on every lane in this house with Outrun the Bear and everything else. You never know what you're going to draw there. I am the 2 lanes that I'm not a fan of are 1 and 2.
Yeah, I don't think anybody likes 1, with the exception of Eric Seeger, who likes that one.
Stanchion comes out and just can play mind games with you.
And Rob will be opening the 6. So I watched my own statistics online, and for a lot of years, my worst lane was 13.
Really?
Yeah, by about 4 pins.
Well, that could be the curse of the good old number 13. So,
but the last year or so, it's been one of my better lanes. So go figure. But like you, I try to avoid 1 under all circumstances.
Oh, absolutely. There's just 1 is horrific.
8 box for Rob in 6. He's on the head pin. Takes out 9, but he's going to leave the 5 pin, I'm going to say. But he's got a nice piece of wood right up against it.
The pin's resting up nice against it. All he's going to do is...
Who needs wood?
Yeah, exactly. Who needs wood in that scenario?
Rob comes in nice and clean.
Honestly, Dan, like that shot right there with that stick of wood on the right side, it's probably easier with Linehan being a lefty taking the ball into the left side of it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because I would have gone for the wood, but I'm right-handed. And Rob's on the head pin, picks up 8.
8, Phil?
2-10 split.
How would you play this, Dan?
Well, I've made this quite a few times by cutting it. Just get to the left side of the 2-pin carried over. But there's a piece of wood in the middle that could deflect that. That's probably what I would try. And he went right solid on it, carried the wood over, didn't cut it. But yeah, I would play the outside on that.
I definitely would have. Yeah, probably more than likely would have been outside on that for me.
And a 10 box for Rob Linehan with an 89 after 8. Although I think you're more likely to make it than I am.
50-50 shot at it.
Yeah.
Little full in the head pin.
And he's got the same split again, so he gets another shot at it, nice and clean, no wood in between. So he had some practice in the last box. Maybe he'll pick it up this time.
Let's see if he goes outside in this one.
A little too far outside. There's another shot at it. Still too far outside. 8 box, 97 after 9. Rob wants to mark here. So he's going to leave the door wide open for Gauthier.
Not a thing you want to do with Dan.
No, I know that well. He smoked me last year. And that's a good way to start the box with an 8 drop and
a couple pieces of wood. That front piece on the right side could definitely give you a little trouble.
Yep, yeah, you're right. He wanted to be.
You wanted to go to the left cap.
Yep. Try to avoid the cap, bring it in. I saw it as kind of a guide more than anything. So 10 box gives Rob Linehan a 107 for his second string. Gauthier comes up. He's on a fill for the 5th box, 56 from the ball. He needs to pick up 51 pins to tie 52 to win. And that includes his fill ball.
Are you bowling out around the Bear in May?
Yes.
Nice. Looking forward to it. That'll be a fun tournament.
Yeah, I like that tournament. I go hot and cold in that, though. That's what's funny. I've done really well in it. I've done really badly in it.
That's the thing. You just have to.
Yeah.
You just have to make the cut every time. Yep. I mean, it's whether you're high man or low man. Just as long as you make it. Well, it's more about endurance than anything else.
That's the trick of that, is not to get too freaked out by somebody next to you bowling really well, because it really doesn't matter.
No.
As long as you make the cut. So I've placed twice. I came in second once, and I came in 4th once.
Nice.
But then I've been out in the second round too a few times, so who knows?
Furthest I made is the 6th round.
And then last year I did the team event and we came in 8th. And that was with my daughter, my son-in-law, and my friend Dave McNamara. So Dan fills the spare with 5 and gets an 8 box, so he's a 69 after 6. And he needs another 38 pins to in 4 boxes to tie and 39 to win. And nice ball, but he left a 7 and 8, which is a pretty tough spare. Are you going to play the wood on that, Justin? You throw a pretty strong ball. I think if you hit the wood, I would punch it through. But
well, coming from where I am right now, Dan, I would probably play the left cap, try and throw it off the right wall, and see if it comes across.
He tries
or
to
just
kick it
try
over.
and take it all over.
And back in the days of what was it, the Nesson show, I was in the playoffs in Worcester, and I had that, and I needed to make that spare, and I actually got it by kicking the 8 over to the 7. But that doesn't happen very often. 9 box for Dan, 78 after 7. 3 boxes to go, and he needs 29 pins, so can't make any mistakes here. He needs all 10 boxes. 1 spare would help him a lot. And there's a 9 drop. Almost a strike. He's got nothing but the 4 pin sitting there looking at him.
Yeah, the wood just drifted off into the gutter. I thought it was going to stay on the deck.
So he's got to throw a 4.5-inch ball at a 2.5-inch pin. And he misses to the right. He wants to pick up the 10. So the reason I say this size is there is because a 2.5-inch pin looks pretty small that far down, but you have a little leeway on each side because of the width of the ball. 9 box for Dan Gauthier.
Still plenty of room. 2 boxes left. He just needs 1 mark.
Yep, 1 mark will do it. 2 10 boxes would tie, but he needs a mark to win. On the head pin, 4 7 10 split. No wood.
4th split for Dan. Rob Linehan.
Yeah, those splits have come every other box.
Pretty much, you're right.
When I bowled Dan on Sunday, I had that issue as well, all over the object pin, but in my 5th string, I think I had 6 out of 10 boxes were all open, were splits.
So Dan with an 8 box, he left a 7-10. And after 9 boxes, it's 97 to 95 Rob Linehan's favor, and Rob closed with a 10 box. Dan needs a spare 3 to win. And that's a pretty good leave. 2 in the 4 pin all alone. 8 drop. Just got to make it.
So much easier on the 3rd strike.
Oh, jeez. He hits the object pin and is not happy about that. Linehan's going to win the 2nd string. I thought he had that go all the way down. And Gauthier closes with a 9 box for a 104, 107 to 104 in favor of Linehan, game 2. So Linehan now has 4 points. Gauthier doesn't have any yet. And Rob has a lead of 18 pins for the match. So it's gotten a little tighter. Still in Rob's favor. Sorry, Bob. All right, Rob's moved over to lane 21 for game 3. Starts off with a nice ball in the pocket. And he gets what Bob calls a Greek church -1. Leaves, so he's got the remainder being the 3, 7, and 9 pins. Some tough shots.
There's a pin behind that?
Yep.
Good bid.
Yeah, he made a great effort at it with the wood.
just going for the 7. $9 for Rob.
Viewers at home can see the standings up through last night on the screen.
I'm looking forward myself to getting back into my matches now. I have my first one back after my injury on Sunday.
Who you bowling?
Gerard Morgan.
Nice. That'll be a good match.
It'll be a grudge match.
Here?
Yeah, it'll be here because
Nice.
last year I bowled him in Norwood, and Gerard's a great bowler, but I took 12. And I know he wants revenge.
Yeah, my next 2 matches that I have coming up are Steve Body and then Timmy Douglas.
Oh, those would be great matches.
Body's my teammate on Friday nights, and Timmy also bowls out of CPL on Friday nights. Timmy actually beat me last year. I think it was 12-2, 10-2, 10-4. So I'm looking for a little revenge on that one, but unfortunately I have to go back to Alley Cat this time.
I don't think I bowled there. Oh, yeah, I have.
Nice house.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, I have.
Very fair. Similar to here.
Yeah, so I have, I've not, Rob had a $9 in his second. He just dropped 8. He's got the 6 and the 10. Yeah, I've got Gerard next weekend and Dave Peterson the weekend after. I'm trying to catch up because I'm way behind. I'm like 5 matches behind.
So these 2 guys right here,
Spare for Rob Linehan.
Dan and Rob both have, Dan's got 4 matches left, Rob's got 5, but after today, so it'll be 4 and 3. And those 2 are fighting for the, they're both in the wild card, but they're fighting for spots 7 and 8, and it could go either way.
All right, Rob fills his spare with 6. He's left with a check mark on the right-hand side.
If the season ended today, you'd be up against
And he's on the object pin, and there it goes off the
Correct.
wall for a second spare in a row for Rob Linehan.
If the season did end today, I would be up against Rich Lamone, and earlier in the season, Rich took me 8-6 at CPL.
And Rob on his spare ball in the 5th box takes out 5. 4 horsemen right plus the 4 pin. It's makeable if he cuts that head pin over.
Esdale just said that his next one's Thursday the 16th against Sam Laudati.
Yep.
Nice, that'll be a good match.
And a 3rd mark in a row for Linehan, 59 in a ball.
Esdale's another guy who's been solid lately.
Oh,
Throwing
yeah.
a bunch of 600s. Also, while we're here, congratulations to him on his first 400 of his career. Threw it Friday night against Dan, as well as Dan Finn having a 400.
In Boston.
Yep, both of them hit 400 for the very first time, and Dan Gauthier has a strike in the first box again. 2nd game in a row he did that. Oh, looked like a possible double.
Might take another one. Oh, look at that thing move right over.
I had one move the other day like 6 inches off spot. I hit the spare perfectly. I had a little mini triangle, and the back pin moved from being the 8 pin to being the 9 pin.
During Worlds this year, Danny Harris had the 4-7, and the 5. The 5 pin slid all the way into the where the 8 pin should be. Wow. I was like, what? That is unbelievable.
So Gauthier puts 8 on a strike for an 18 after 1 and 9 in the box for 27. Now he is up against 3 marks in a row by Rob Linehan. So an early lead in the game, but he's got to produce here or Rob will be ahead at the end. Dan drops 8. That's a 6 and a 10. No wood.
There it is.
Not in doubt at all. That was nice and clean. Mark in the 3rd for a 37 in a ball.
And a guest appearance by Steve Reno coming back.
Gauthier on his fill. Another ball and a head pin, and that's a strike. That's a 10 fill. It doesn't get better than that. So that puts him at 47 after 3. In boxes completed, he's 13 pins ahead of Linehan at the moment. And on a strike. He's answering very well to Linehan's 3 in a row. Another strike. There's a double strike.
It's a heck of an answer by Gauthier coming back after that last string.
That's amazing. That's 3 out of 5 strikes, 4 out of 5 marks. All right, Linehan's on a mark. He's at 59 in a ball after 5. And watch out, because here comes Gauthier, so he needs to keep the marks coming. He hooked the ball a little much. It went right of the head pin, and he takes out 4 on his fill.
Leaving the 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9.
Yep. That's reasonably makeable. It's off the head pin, gets everything but the head pin. There you go, there's a 10. 73 after 6 for Linehan.
Both are having tremendous strings right now.
Linehan puts it in a right-hand pocket, takes out 6.
Some controversy about how to mark a double strike at the end of the half.
It is tough.
I'm calling that 77 because through pins falling right now, it's 77.
Absolutely.
His next ball will be
Nice
added,
attempt.
and then
Yep.
the fill
The
after
second
that.
ball, second ball will be added after that.
So 77 to already through, and that would be 5.
No, when we did it on paper, it was always all 4 corners would be filled in for a double strike. And Linehan leaves 3 for a 7-box, 80 after 7.
Dan, you and I are both fairway guys back in the day. What was your favorite lane going on at fairway?
Well, that's a good question. I actually liked 1 and 2. So I like to be down in the left-hand end. There's 32 lanes in that house. And yeah, anywhere on the left side I was pretty happy with, but you and I bowled in the Wednesday League on the right-hand side.
Good bid there by Linehan.
And we bowled in the Monday Night League
Yep.
on the left side. My average was much higher then than it is now.
When I first joined that Monday Night League, there were 32 teams. Took up the whole house.
Yep. They had some great matches. Do you remember the night before the last night when we had the semifinals? And we'd be there till 1 in the morning because they would do two sets. 1 or 2 in the morning. They kept it open for us.
It was always fun. That was one of the best leagues I've ever bowled in.
The last 6 of the last 7 years, my team made it to the final 2, but we never won. The first year it was amazing because we were all pretty green, and everybody was surprised to see us go that far. And then we're in the finals, and Billy Austin on his slide dislocated his knee.
Really?
And I ran a 6-man rotation on that team. We had 5 in the team, and I always had a 6, and our 6 happened to be there, so we could bring him in.
Nice.
Fortunately, but Billy had to go to the hospital. All right, Linehan's 98 after 9. And 7 gone. He's got the 1, 4, and 7.
Tough game for Robbie. He had the 4 splits to match Dan Gauthier's 4 splits from the second game. So coming around, going around.
There he goes. Nice spare, and I think that was a hard spare for a lefty. The way Rob's ball comes in, he probably would have preferred that leave on the right than the left, but he got it. 108 plus a ball. He wants a huge fill here to give Dan some challenge. And a 9's
That's
a pretty good
finish
fill.
by Rob right there. Very good finish by Rob.
Yep, that's 117 for game 3.
40. So 357 after 3. That's a solid average, 119 average right there.
Gauthier at 299 after 2.5.
Now,
Bonus spins coming up. Set up the double strike now.
yep. Now Dan's on a double strike, going for 3.
Should be about 47.
Here we go for the triple. He's on the head pin and full on a head pin for a spread eagle. So box 4, the first strike is a 14 fill. That gives him 71 after 4. And now an attempt on the spread eagle.
All right, 6 fill.
6 fill for the second strike.
It's
So
87 half.
it's a great half. 87 after 5. Solid lead. Now he just wants to pin out of this and go to the next. Which is what he does with an 8 box for 95 after 6 boxes. So when box is completed,
He's got to cut right into that lead that Rob has. He's got a 40-pin lead right now for the match.
yep. And he's
22
got
pin lead on
22
the
ahead right now.
Yeah.
Look at this. That was a great ball. A little full. 7 going to go. Okay, so 7-10 split, some wood.
This is the instance where I just used the good old spray and pray kind of thing.
Yeah,
Hopefully it
Take
comes
it on
off
the
wall.
inside of the pin a little bit. Hope it bounces around. That's what he's doing. Oh,
Very good bid.
it's as good as you can do on that one. There's no magic with it. That just, what you call it, a spray and a pray. That's go for the 10 box. There it is. 105 after 7 for Dan Gauthier to Rob's 80 after 7.
Right now it's 117, 105. Rob's up 12, but Shoe's got 3 boxes to go.
Yep. As long as he doesn't throw a lot of gutter balls, he should win this one. On the head pin again, a little too full. Takes out 6. 3 splits in a row. 2, 4, 6, and 10.
Seems to me, since I've been here since the last string, the 21's getting a little more action than you get on 22.
I kind of like these lanes down at the end, but they've been good and bad for me. I've thrown some big games on 22, but I've thrown some terrible games.
I said after the last game.
So Shoe on the 10 attempt goes in and throws in the gutter, has a 7 box, 112 after 8. Needs 6 pins to win the string.
5-pin. It's a 5-pin lead in the string for Linehan. 23 overall for the match. Shoe can cut into it pretty good right here.
He's on the head pin again. He's coming in full on that head pin.
How about 4 splits in a row?
Yep. 1, 2, you're right, 4 splits in a row. And I believe they were all head pin hits.
And Rob had 3 out of 5 on his side here.
There we go. What a shot.
Great shot by Dan Gauthier.
That was beautiful. Picks up the 6, 7, 10. And if I recall correctly, he took the ball slightly on the inside of the 6 pin, carried it over, and between that and the wood, took out the 7. On the fill. And Gauthier will win this string. He's at 129 after 9. Going for another spare attempt on a 138 with no wood. And he's going to be open in the 10th.
Still a heck of a 130 game.
Sure is. All at 138 for a 9 box. So he's picked up his first points of the match. Rob has 4, Dan has 2. And it looks like Gauthier's taking a small lead in the game in a match total. He's at 360 to Linehan's 357. Not unexpected for these two bowlers to be pretty close in total.
What did they finish last week at league? 594.
594 each.
Now we're going to game 4, and Linehan starts with a ball off to the right a little bit. Takes out 6. He's got the 1, 2, 4, 5. And off the head pin, everything but that 1.
That's where you can't really sleep on Gauthier, because he did the same thing. The same thing happened to me last week. I took the first 2. He came back and threw a monster on me in the 3rd. Then threw another one in the 4th. And it came right down to the end.
I've had some like that too, where I was feeling pretty confident after game 1 or 2, and then my opponent comes back. Yeah. Linehan has a 10 box to start. It's light in the right hand pocket on that one. Takes out 6. It's a 2, 5, 6, 8. Or 7, 8. 2, 5, 7, 8. Piece of wood in the front. I don't know that's going to help. There he goes.
What a shot.
That's a very good shot by Rob there.
Now, he took a moment to think about it. It was a good move because he came into the right-hand side of the front pin, and that's exactly what he needed to do. Rob can be incredibly accurate sometimes. And he gets some great action on that one because he was on the 2 pin. Took out 7 for the fill for 27 after 2, and he's got...
Both of these lanes are just complete opposites.
Yeah, I definitely getting a lot more action on 21. And Rob with another mark.
Keeping Bob Lee busy over here.
Yeah, they're not slow bowlers, either one of them. Linehan on the fill. He's again on the 3 pin. This time it doesn't help him a whole lot. He takes out 4. So we measured ball speed. I wonder how fast Rob goes himself.
Yeah, that's the road runner, Rob Linehan.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know.
Take it? Great
Oh,
bid,
wow,
Rob.
what a
Great
shot.
bid.
Over the corner.
What a try on that.
I think if that wood wasn't on the right side of the lane, I think it would have taken it.
Yeah, I bet you it'd. And a 10. Rob's perfect so far. 51 after 4.
No, we're just running how fast you run. That's what we really want to know. The viewers at home want to know why.
That doesn't count steps though.
Well,
It's 5 or 6. I counted 5
it's
most
close.
of the time.
Linehan off on the 2
He was running
pin,
extra
3 pin
fast
again.
at the time.
yeah. He was trying. It said 32 out of his hand, but Rob doesn't run that fast.
If he ran that fast, he wouldn't stop at the foul line. Dropped 6 on his first ball, and I think we distracted the bowler a little because he missed his spare attempt. So he's left with a 1 and a 7. And a 10 box.
Perfect of a half.
5, 61 after 5. I see Tim Douglas has joined us, is Stephen Munn, and Dennis Green. Hey guys.
Timmy, you watching from the hotel room?
Tim's still in second place.
It's either Tim or Charlie Collins.
Let's see about
Let me
that.
bring that right back up.
Bring it up here too.
Well, Timmy and Bot are going like back and forth in the division.
All right, Gauthier coming up for game.
It is
for
Timmy
game 4.
over Charlie by 2 points.
Against the 61 half. Can he do it 3 in a row? Not quite, almost. His first box in game 2 and game 3 was a strike. This time he drops 9.
And then not far behind Timmy and Charlie is Ed Woodside. Those are your 4 division leaders for the South
Right.
Division
So
A.
you got to figure these 2 guys at 7th and 6th place are going to be
Correct.
facing either Tim or
And a spare for Dan Gauthier to start them game.
So
So 3 of his last 4 games, he started with a mark. On the head pin, a little full, but the 10's not going to go. He's left with 3 on the left with a 10 pin. Not much you can do but cut that over or hope for some wall action.
who's on the outside of the playoffs there?
Jake Cook, Chris Parkinson, and Mike Nardone.
Mention that he's in 10th place.
They all have a good shot at it though. I mean, there's plenty
Oh,
of
almost.
plenty of matches left. I mean, Jake has 6, Parkinson has 5, and so does Nardone has 6 as well. Anything can happen between those 3.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
Nardone's bowling right now.
Is he really?
And a 10 box for Gauthier for
bowling
26
one
after 2.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
All right, coming into box 3, he's up against a mark. And again on a head pin.
Get out of there, Wood.
Leaves a 5, 7, 8. Gotta spin that 5 pin around, get it over to the left.
With the way Shu throws his ball, he can actually cut the 5 into the 8 and take over to the 7.
That's what he's trying. Look at that. Oh, wow.
Just like that.
Yeah. Good call. Amazed it didn't take out the 7. Went dead as soon as I hit the wall. But it's on now for a 10 box, 36 after 3. And he's down to 5 pins in the game for boxes completed, but he's up against 2 open boxes, both of which were 10s. So it's a spare, he could take the lead. And that's not a spare, that's a strike in box 4, just like he did last time when he threw his double. So will we see a repeat of a double in the 4th and the 5th? And he's in there. Oh, close.
Nothing wrong with that.
But nice fill so far for 8 in the first ball. He's got the 5 and the 7. And as you can hear Dan commenting, the wood's a little flat to make
I'd
it
go
an
right
easy
here.
shot. Yeah.
I would go right here and play it right at the red line and try and kick the wood over as well.
Right on the red line. And I think you're right.
I
If you
think I
went a
would-
little more to the
I
right,
think I would
it
have
might
a little
agree.
more right. Maybe that extra wood comes off that wall hard and scoots all the way over.
Well, that's a 9 fill on a strike for 55 after 4. And now he's got the lead in the game. 10 box. And both bowlers in this game so far have taken out every pin. 10s or spares in every box for
Four
both.
splits on the board, 3
So
from
that-
Dan and 1 from Rob.
And they've been chasing a lot of
Each ball
splits
over
here.
2 marks.
Gauthier at 65, Linehan at 61 after 5. And that's an interesting leave. Rob was on the 2 pin. He took out 5. 1, 3, 4, 7, 8 left. Tough shot to make.
Play it like a half whisker, I would say.
Good idea. Try to cut from the head pin, but he goes a little full and takes out 2 more, leaves 3. Probably going to be prudent and just get 2 of them here. What he does. Almost carries a wood back, but not quite. 9 box, 70 after 6 for Rob Linehan. Box 7. Rob's to the right of the head pin. It's nice action on that. Takes out everything but the king pin or the 5 pin. It stands alone.
Plate helped him there, but getting rid of that wood.
Oh, just misses. Thought it was coming in. He took a little too much hook on it. And a little to the left. So a 9 box, 79 after 7. And Justin's left us for right now. Linehan, box 8, again on the head pin. Nice drop. 9-10 is the remainder. Piece of wood by the 9 pin. Maybe it'll help. This seems a little far back, but nope, doesn't help. It takes the 9, but not the 10. They'll be open in the 8 box. Yeah, we're watching on the left the Ashley Breton's versus Steve Carden match. Ashley threw a 115 here in her final string.
She started with a 139 and a 562 for the day for Ashley. She's looking like
And Steve Carden just made an amazing spare, which you could see on the lane to the left here. Actually, can't.
Can't see Steve, but
And Rob's left with
see his
a
face.
high-low jack for $10 attempt.
Bonus money?
I'll put a buck up.
For $50. And he goes wide, misses it all, has a 7 box for 95 after 9. We have an interesting situation over there. Ashley closed with a 115, and Steve needs a 10 to tie, or spare to win. He's missed a spare. And they tied. They tied the last string.
Looks like so. That looks like Ashley's going to end up winning 9 to 5. Then, right? Or 9 to.
Linehan drops 6 on his first ball in the 10th. Goes wide to the right. Picks up 2 more.
Yeah, 11 to 3. Congratulations to Ashley Bretton on the 562.
Hi, Shannon. Yes, this is in Millis at Ryan's Family Amusement in Millis. And Linehan has an 8 box to close.
103.
So Rob Linehan closes it with a 103 for game 4. And that leaves the door open for Dan Gauthier, who needs and Dan is he going to throw another strike? He is. Gauthier is getting more strikes and snares tonight. So I was going to say, Dan needed 38 pins to tie, 39 to win, and there's 10 of them right there, plus a fill.
Just he throws one into Mariana's trench there.
Picks up just one, but he's going to throw a strike ball now.
Oh, I think it's B division.
And that's much better ball, and he picks up 8 for the fill. 8 for the fill on the strike for 83 after 6. And now he's trying for a 10 box. Shooting at the 2 and the 4. Picks up one of them, a 9 box, 92 after 7 for Dan Gauthier.
Yeah. So the big change last summer. Dan switched from a 4-step to a 3-step approach under the strong advice from Dad Klein, his teammate in the Wednesday Night Leagues. And he was in the B's last year.
Yep, well, I bowled against him
yeah. And he was, not dominating either in the B's. Now he's averaging, what did you say, 116,
yep.
117?
116, 117, yeah.
And it's like the old Dan Gauthier.
And picks up another mark. Yeah, and his approach is interesting because he starts right at the ball return. He's way to the left on the ball return. And that serves him quite well.
Thank you guys for doing that.
He's got a slightly diagonal
Oh, look at that
approach.
ball. Wow.
Drops 9 in the fill, and that wins the string for him for 111 after 8. And it's all just extra pins right now.
Match total very similar. The three pin difference going into this one. So this is all gravy to get ready for that 4 points for the total pins. On
Yeah,
the
this
line
gives
after.
Dan a big advantage if he can get another mark. And he's got a 10 box for 121 after 9. And again, Rob Linehan finished with a 103. 10th box. A little light on the head pin. Get some good action. And that is a castle right.
That might be connected too, Dan.
And one difference on this sleeve is he's got 2 pieces of wood. Usually you only have one when you get this.
It's only ever really even close to a 50-50 chance when the wood is covering both in the middle row pins,
That's
the
right.
5 and 6 or the 4 and 5.
And there we go. There it is. He got the castle. 131 and a ball. So he's going to throw 2 130 games in a row here. If he gets a strike, it'll be 140 game.
Look at that.
And let's call that a 141. It's a 20 box. Gauthier putting on a show here for 141 in the fourth string.
He's at 501 through 4.
501 through 4 needs a 99 to hit 600. So this match has flipped, and they're now tied 4-4 in the point total. So this next string is huge. It's worth 2 points itself, but the winner of the total wins 4 points.
Advantage Gauthier, yeah.
And Gauthier's got the edge right now. And there we go. There's a castle right again. 5, 6, 10.
Much trickier wood situation. I'm not sure that
The right
if
hand
that
wood
piece
is
covering or not.
Yeah, it is.
It is? Okay. So
it is. But he
needs
can
to rivet
move
it
off.
then. Nope, it wasn't.
All right, it looked like it was.
It was
open
very
for the
close.
first.
It didn't stretch that way.
So Gauthier has a 41-pin lead in total right now. So Rob needs a big game, and he's got a $10 to start. Rob in his second box, he's off of the head pin onto the 2-pin. And he's left with a 1, 3, 4, 7, 9 with some wood behind the 1 and the 3. That might just be helpful, but it may not work for the 9. We'll see.
Now hit the head pin. Let's see.
Right there.
What a shot and nothing.
And did I call it or what?
Yeah, the
Everything
sleeper.
but the 9 pin.
Yep.
It was all set up just nice, but I couldn't see anything covering the 9. And there's a 9 box. 19 after 2 for Linehan. All right, box 3. Off the head pin to the right again, or the left again, I'm sorry. Can't tell my left from right sometimes. Have to write it on my hands. And he's got the 4 horsemen right with wood behind the 1 and the 3.
What do you do when you have the wood right behind the 1 and 2 or the 1 and 3 like that?
Want the pocket, because if you hit it on the head pin, it's probably going
I
to
know
not carry
when you
one.
hit it shoots like that. Yep.
You need to be in the pocket, because if you hit that 1 pin, if there's nothing there, sometimes it'll kick it out and it'll all go. But if you get that wood behind there, the wood's very helpful when you have like the 7 pin or something else in addition to that.
That's right. Even that shot coming from the left-hand side, like Linehan does, you think your ball's going to go through, but the ball actually bounces out to the right side of the.
Yeah.
Certainly the 10 pin, if not the also the 6 pin.
I would guess what's happening there is now you've got the 2 pins there, so you've got double the mass,
Yeah.
and that ball coming in. So that's going to tend to make the ball more likely to bounce off and then not carry one of the back pins.
1, 3, 7, 9, 10.
And there's everything but the 1 and the 7 left. Gone. 1, 7 with some wood. And
Hey,
wow, that's an
that's-
interesting way to do that. Wish we had instant replay.
Take notes on that.
Yeah.
Back slapper.
He kicks the 7 pin forward to take out the head pin. Gives him a 10, 38 after 4.
Oh no.
5th box. Takes out 5 as a triangle and a pair.
It's a frontal Greek church. I'm still not sure why we call it. The 10 pinners call these Greek churches. They're usually in the corners, but you have the 3 pinner and the 2 pinner. They're actually harder to make than a 7-10.
I got challenged the other day by my friend Mike Smith, who I thought was going to be here, because I called something a Greek church we were bowling. He says, "Do you have a name for everything?" And I said, "Yeah, we do."
Well,
He thinks I'm making them up. I said, "No, that's one."
We don't often call it. When guys set up, we don't say, "Hey, here's his first ball. He's facing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10." At some point when they're 4, 5, 6 pins, the numbers stop making sense.
Well, that's the beauty of this sport, is because there's a lot of tradition. There's a lot of color in it, such as the half Worcester, the 4 horsemen, the kingpin. It's just part of the language and the color of the game, and one of the reasons a lot of us like it so much. It's very much a New England thing.
Did you finish
And I'm not a native New Englander myself. I've lived here most of my life. I can tell you it's a very colorful area and a lot of colorful language here, and I enjoy it a
There were
lot.
there were no candlepin houses in the part of New York where you grew up.
No, I grew up in the southern tier of New York. They call it Shenango County. My dad had a dairy farm actually, and it's all 10-pin bowling up there.
Dan almost made it on that little 1-3-4-7-8.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
in that area, which is just west of the Catskill Mountains, very rural, and it's all 10-pin houses. I have a lot of cousins, and when I go up home, sometimes we go 10-pin bowling together. And then I lived in the Midwest for 10 years. I went to college in Indiana and grad school in Ohio, and I used to bowl for interfraternity leagues sometimes, and my ex-wife and I used to bowl a lot when we lived in Ohio. But that was all 10-pin. Nobody ever heard of this. But my ex-wife is from Massachusetts.
It's hard to understand. A lot of people ask, why is it that 10-pin is so prevalent everywhere else? I mean, if people had their choice, a lot of people would choose candlepin. I think it's the better game for a sportsman, or for a lot of people who like a small ball in general. A sportsman who likes to throw a fastball, it's more. It's a little more like baseball or softball in the field.
It's a harder game though, and the scores are lower. And I've seen 10-pinners come in and get very frustrated with it because you just have to set your expectations different. You're not going to be throwing, as a good bowler, 180s to 200s or better. That's not going to happen in this game. It's just a different,
But the question is, why did it go that way? I believe what happened is when they developed the pin setters in the 40s and 50s, like early 50s, you had to make a choice, and at that time, AMF, Brunswick, whoever it was that was making pin setters, was very aggressive in places that used to be able to, with a if you had a pin boy, setting up the pins, you could choose your game. You play all 3 games in one afternoon.
That's where the money went eventually.
But with the pin setter, the choice was made for you. Dan open in the third.
Yeah, Dan's open in the third. He's at 18 after 2. Now, he only needs to win this string by 1 to take 8 for the night.
That's right.
And there's a 10 box, 28 after 3, and through frames completed, they're tied. So I bowled very young. My grandparents were in a bowling league for years, and my dad was for a while until his back bothered him too much. And I loved it when I was 4 or 5 years old. My grandparents would take me down and go bowling, and I had all kinds of bowling stuff. I had a plastic piggy bank that was in the shape of a bowling bag. I had bowling sets. I don't know how many I went through bowling down the hallway. So it's always been part of my life.
When I was a little kid, my parents took me bowling, like in Seattle, Washington, when I was like 4 or 5 years old. We used to go. The kids had to go in socks. They didn't have little shoes for me.
That's interesting. I don't remember for sure. I think they had shoes, but it's going back a long ways. They're going back into the 60s now.
10 in the fourth.
Yeah, and Benjamin, and if I remember right, Benjamin, you're commenting from Wisconsin, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, it's tougher as we get older to throw a 14, 16 pound ball. I don't know if I could do it. My shoulders causing me enough problems with a 2 pound 6 ounce ball. What do we call that config? 1, 3, 4, 7, 8.
Side saddle triangle.
I call it a mess.
Don Gillis called it the side saddle triangle.
What do you call it?
Side saddle triangle.
Oh wow. Well, this is what Dan's got up here. This is a leave I had the other night.
I don't think that wood is connected though to the front.
He's got to go to the back of it, right?
See?
Yeah, that's kind of.
He hit it fine, but
he left
that
2
wood,
pins.
he had to collapse that wood somehow. So both bowlers open sides for the first time tonight. 2 splits for Rob Linehan, 2 splits for Dan Gauthier, and a 9 at 1 pin difference.
Yeah, so it's very close. Both of you guys are open all through 5.
That's right.
But
So
I brought people from other states in to bowl candlepin, and one time on a Friday night league, one of my fraternity brothers was visiting from Indiana. He's an executive for a firm out there, and I said, "You want to go bowling? I got a league tonight." And he subbed in. He'd never seen it before, and he actually did pretty well. He was bowling mid-80s. He loved it, and every time I see him, I'll probably see him again in April. He's like, "We got to go candlepin again." I said, "We'll get your butt up to Massachusetts, and we'll do it."
there it is. Some good late action for Rob Linehan. Good look at the 1-2 here. Nothing in the way for the first spare.
There you go. There's a spare for Rob. Rob needs that. He needs to catch up here. He's got a 42-pin deficit in total, so he needs a big half if he wants to take total. He's basically got to mark out. That's a lot of pins to catch up. On the fill, box 7. Linehan is on the head pin and a little full, takes out 7. He's got the 6, 7, 10 split and some wood that could be interesting. Or as Justin was saying, he's got a spray and pray. And he misses. He was trying to catch the end of that and spin it around. So opening a 7th. A little more full, not enough to carry all 3, but he takes a 9 box for 72 after 7 boxes.
All right, Rob, just 2 over his box. Dan finished 3 under his box. Basically a 1 spare difference right now.
All right, full on the head pin again. And we have a 3-1 split. 3, 4, 6, 10. And goes through the hole again. Unfortunately, in bowling, a goal doesn't count for a point here. You've got to hit the pins. And that's better. Another 9 box. 81 after 8. 1 pin over par in this string for Rob. They both slowed down a little bit.
Yeah. And 4 splits to 1 spare. Make it 5.
That time he was in the pocket, but with Rob's ball going left to right so much, the right-hand pocket doesn't always work very well for him. And he took out 7. What do I see there? I see a 5, 8, and 10. I think, no, 5, 6, 8. Oh boy. 5, 6, 8. Just picked up 1.
He was playing it out, playing for the thin one there. Just missed left.
Yes, as Steven comments that it's easier to bowl strikes in 10 pin, and people like to see strikes, and I think you're absolutely correct on that. I mean, it looks kind of the expectation.
After you've played a lot of candlepin, though, it looks weird. The pins are so close together, and they're 4.5 inches wide. The pins in 10 pin are as big as the ball is.
It is weird. I bowled for a while in a company league where we bowled at Boston Bowls in Dorchester, and it was half. Probably mostly 10 pin, and you go down there and to a candlepin bowler, those 10 pin balls look like big balloons going very slowly down the lane.
I thought they were playing a special game when I was at Boston Bowl, and I saw people to my right in the dark playing with those. I thought, that was good 10.
Rob,
so 100 on the nose
with a 10 box and a 100 string.
And I honestly thought they just doubled the size and they were playing some goofball game so they could score more easily. And it was like, that's the normal size?
That's normal, yeah. That's what most people think of when they think of bowling.
All right, so
Dan Gauthier needs 1 mark to win this string. He's at 47 after 5, and he's up against a 100. He needs 54 pins to win this string, 53 to tie. That's 1 spare.
And 22 has been the less forgiving of the 2 lanes.
But he only needs 1
That
spare.
said, Gauthier's been bowling brilliantly. Cross is over.
I can't see the pins, but he's got a 9 drop. Just go for the pin. Keep it out of the gutter. Oh, and he misses to the right. And a 9 box.
That was a big chance.
He was up against a spare in that box. Rob had his only spare in the 6.
If Rob holds on, he will get 6 points and lose 8-6. The match is over now. After this.
To tell the truth, a close match like that's not unexpected with these 2 bowlers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this one, the match right now, Dan has exceeded Linehan's 5-6.
Yeah.
So we're all about the game now. And a split. Look at that. I mean, how many splits have we seen? We've seen as many as 5 aside for the bowlers.
Well, the ones that the scoring system picks up, Rob had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them.
5, yeah.
Dan's got 2 so
three
far.
already. 3, including this box.
Nice 9 by Dan Gauthier for 65 after 7. He's looking for that spare to win the string and take 10.
You know, the normal rate, at least on Channel 5, is a 40% rate for pro bowlers to get splits. I've also measured it here, and it was 40%. And what do you know? Another one.
Another one.
Four
spread
splits
eagle
for Dan to go with. 5 for Rob, and it's been pretty high scoring. These guys are scoring in the 560s as it is, but.
He makes a bid at trying to take it off the wall.
Splits are, I gotta say, a little more than 50% tonight. I'll have to go back and look at it with a notebook. But good
Gauthier
9 there,
closes
but
with the 9. 74 after 8. He needs a spare 7 to win this string and a 10.
yeah.
So he's got to find a spare here in these last 2 boxes.
There's a good one. Yeah, he broke up a split there.
That's a good way to do it. He drops 9, almost has a strike, doesn't. Leaves the 8 pin with a attractive piece
It's
of wood.
going to be real exciting. The pro average is 6. I think it's 6.3 for Phils. So let's see if he can.
And there it
spare,
is.
he
He's got
does.
the spare in the 9th. 84 plus a ball. So anything over a 6 on the fill-in, he's got the lead through boxes completed. And he wants something bigger than that. Nice ball down the middle. And that's an 8 fill. That's what he wanted. And he is now tied with his string. So the next pin, he's got 92 after the 9th, plus 8 more pins. That puts him at 100. Next pin, he wins the string.
If he hits it. He got it. That's big.
So he didn't have to mark. He just had to hit a pin. And Dan Gauthier will take 10 points today. 101 to 100.
Wow.
And the final. Sometimes even a low-scoring game can be pretty exciting. It's not always about throwing big games. It's keeping your head in the game and catching up and going ahead of your opponent. So our final results.
Dan Gauthier 602, Rob Linehan 560, and 3 games to 2 on the games for a total of 10-4. Danny, thanks for announcing.
Yeah, a lot of fun today. A great match. I love these guys. These guys are great bowlers. We have a lot of fun doing this. And thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight in Millis at Brian's Family Amusements. And thanks to Bob for doing the production. And to Justin Waters for joining in as a guest speaker. And thank you, everybody, tonight.